Alrighty, everyone, welcome back to the channel. I got a little bit of a different video today for you. I'm taking a small break from the Yuri Borka career mode. Um, sorry. I don't know about you guys, but I recently watched a video by MMA On Point covering the career of Rory MacDonald, and I was reminded, of all his fights and like just how good he was when he was still in the UFC. His battle with Robbie Lawler will always be remembered. But it kind of got me thinking, one fight that I always kind of wanted to see how it would pan out, even though it would never happen. I wanted to know what would happen if George St-Pierre and Rory MacDonald met, because they were both pretty similar. They were both like super well rounded, and they could take the fight anywhere. They were really known for their technical ability and their jabs. So I just kind of wanted to know, if I put this in ultimate simulation, like ultimate difficulty, energy set to simulation mode, I want to know how this would pan out. Let me see. There we go. Yeah, we have the Red King himself, Roy MacDonald. If you want to see the stats of both of these guys, Roy MacDonald in this game has a very slight strength advantage, but GSP pretty much has the advantage in like just about every other category. Um, Although Roy does have slightly higher submission stats. You look at their defense. I mean, you know, both of them are pretty well rounded. I imagine George is going to be the favorite, but let's just throw these two in there and see what happens.
Whether he is standing up or on the mat, one thing is almost certain with Rory MacDonald. It will not go to a judge's decision. Tonight, this well-rounded fighter from British Columbia is hoping to add one more finish to his impressive record. One of the most dominant welterweights of all time, George Rush St-Pierre has proven that he has the ability to out-wrestle the best wrestlers, outstrike the best strikers, and most importantly, he finds a way to win fights. Rory MacDonald, making his way to the octagon, ready to compete for the title.
Rory MacDonald is a tough guy to make a game plan for. He's been a pro fighter since he was 16 years old, and he is extremely well-rounded. A solid striker, a solid grappler, and when he gets on top of you, he has some nasty ground and pound.
Rory MacDonald, fired up and looking to put that belt around his waist. George St-Pierre, making his way to the octagon, ready to defend his UFC title.
GSP is the definition of the modern mixed martial artist. He's extremely athletic, well-versed in every single aspect of the sport, and no one is better at taking control of a fight.
George St-Pierre, ready to throw down and defend his title. Our Tale of the Tape is brought to you by Zenergy, powered by Zions, the official energy drink of the UFC. We are now set for the official introductions, and with that, here is Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. And now, live from the Bell Center in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, it's time! 5 rounds for the UFC Welterweight Championship of the World. Introducing first, the challenger, fighting out of the blue corner. This man is a mixed martial artist. He stands 6 feet tall, weighing in at 170 pounds. Fighting out of Montreal, Quebec, Canada, Rory, the Water Boy MacDonald. And now, Introducing the champion, fighting out of the red corner. This man is a wrestler and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighter. He stands 5 feet 10 inches tall, weighing in at 170 pounds. Fighting out of Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the reigning, defending UFC welterweight champion of the world. Presenting the legendary UFC Hall of Fame Octagon Warrior, George Rush St-Pierre! And when the action begins, our referee in charge of this contest is Herb Dean.
All right, gentlemen, this is for the championship. You've been given your instructions in the dressing room. Protect yourself at all times. Follow my instructions. We will have a clean fight. Touch gloves. Let's make it official.
Mike Goldberg with Joe Rogan, and we are ready to start round 1.
Are you ready to fight?
Rory MacDonald, George St-Pierre. Round 1
All right,
is underway.
round 1 and we're
Matt Hughes
off.
used to talk about it often that he believed the future
This is on,
of the welterweight
to reiterate,
division would be George
this is
Rush
on
St-Pierre.
ultimate difficulty.
And although there was the
Energy
setback
is set to
against
simulation
Mansara, he arguably
to make
is
it
the greatest
have a
welterweight in
more
the world
realistic
today.
feel.
He's arguably one of the top 10 pound-for-pound
Rory,
fighters.
this is a
in the
young
world today, if
Rory
not
too.
top
He
three.
was super aggressive,
Is
and he was
phenomenal
always
at every
looking
single
for a
aspect of
finish,
the
you
game
know.
and completely dominant in one of the most
It's
competitive
kind of
divisions in
crazy.
UFC.
Nice takedown by GSP there. Oh,
The crowd rallying behind George St-Pierre.
we'll see if Rory can reverse position. It doesn't look good though. Oh boy. Oh, George is just having his way right now. Can he get the submission? Rory might, Rory has decent submission defense. Okay, he gets out, finds himself on top.
Very nice escape.
It's kind of crazy because for the longest time when Rory was young and in the UFC, he was putting on such impressive performances despite how young he was. He was really wise beyond his years. And for the longest time, even GSP said himself, like, he is the future of the welterweight division. He was dubbed as, like, essentially the next GSP. And as good as Rory was, and as close as he was to winning a UFC championship, he just never quite lived up to the potential, to the standard that, we expected of him. And, in hindsight, like, he ended up having a pretty good career. He never became a champion in the UFC. But, he gave us that legendary fight with Robbie Lawler. Came within. He was less than 5 minutes away from being the UFC champion, man. Then, ended his UFC tenure with a loss to Stephen Thompson. Ooh, nice. Rory is more than holding his own against GSP here. Nice. But, after... Ooh! Drops him with a Superman punch. That's huge. Oh, and he's taunting him, too. Wow. This young gun is not intimidated whatsoever by his mentor. But, as I was saying, Rory eventually went over to Bellator. He did become Bellator champion. See, he did win a major world title. It may not have been considered as prestigious as, like, UFC, but, he beat some good names, in Bellator too. Like, Diego Lima's no joke. Or, I'm sorry, not Diego. Douglas Lima is who he beat in Bellator. Here's another name, Paul Daly. He beat Paul Daly in Bellator. Had a draw with John Fitch, but then he came back and had... If there's one fight I wish I could rewatch, but I can never find it on any site. If anyone knows where I can rewatch Rory's fight against Neiman Gracie, Please let me know down in the comments, because that fight had excellent grappling exchanges, and it really showed just how high level Roy's grappling could be.
We start round 2.
You know, it's obviously he failed in his attempts to become a double champion when he tried to fight Gegard Mousasi at middleweight, but you know, Mousasi is a pretty tough fight for anyone, so no real shame in losing that one. And I mean, we all know how freaking successful George St-Pierre's been. Ooh, man, Roy. You would think that these guys know each other pretty well, considering that they train with each other. They know each other's tricks and tendencies. It is pretty sad seeing how Roy did finish his MMA career. I know he went over to PFL, but the guys he ended up losing to, you know, if he was put up against those same fighters like just a couple years earlier, you would think that it would have been a completely different result, you know. Like the guys he lost to, like Ray Cooper, you know, if any of those guys from the PFL fought the Roy, you know, that was in the UFC, those fights would not have been close. Roy would have ran through those guys. But, you know, I think it's a combination of a lot of things, you know. I think the biggest thing is just the damage that Roy took in that second fight with Robbie Lawler and his losing efforts to win the championship. Ooh, this is very big that Roy can stuff the takedowns of George St-Pierre. Not many people can do that. And he's doing it consistently, which is impressive. They both love that Superman jab into a rear leg kick. Yeah, it's definitely the damage to Roy's nose. They suffered in his second fight with Robbie. That was a pretty big part of it, but then I think another part was that even Roy said it himself, when he started fighting, he had a lot of anger issues, and you know, his outlet was like through fighting, and at a certain point, you know, he just didn't have that anger, that same drive anymore, and you know, he had like this very religious experience, you know, that essentially made him like a born-again Christian. With, you know, like, good for him, you know. It's just, it could be one of the reasons that that he declined later in his career, but honestly, I think it's more of an accumulation of the damage he took in his career, because, you know, I think he was like 32 or 33 when he retired, but people forget that that dude's been fighting ever since he turned 16. I mean, he started training MMA when he was only 14, you know? Like, his parents had to sign a permission slip to, you know, just so he could fight in his first professional fight. And 16 years of a combat sport competing at the highest levels takes a toll.
And we are set for the start of round 3. This is a championship fight, so it is scheduled for 5-minute rounds. Nice counter. Nice inside leg kick.
It's funny too, because you know, a young Rory, before he came into UFC, he one of the guys he wanted to fight was GSP.
Nice counter right hand.
And a young, hungry Rory with the drive to become champion would have been a handful for anyone.
Beautiful wrestling by George St-Pierre.
I mean, you know, Rory was so well-rounded.
Moves into half guard.
He made his UFC debut when he was 20. I remember they put him up against Carlos Condit in just his second UFC fight, and Rory was really close to winning that too. He was winning like the first 2 rounds, got stopped late into the third, because Carlos was able to make a miraculous comeback.
Moves into full mount here. Oh, reversal.
But obviously when
Side control.
Rory made that move to what's that gym, TriStar, you know, started training with GSP more, and you know their friendship grew. And that's when they stated like, no, we're not gonna fight each other.
Very nice.
I always wondered how this fight would go. You know, this might be a series that I could do. I could call it like the What If series or something. I don't know. God, the reversals on the ground. You just know each other's tendencies. I could probably do a What If series of like teammates fighting each other. I imagine for like heavyweight division, just for an example, I could do a Cain Velasquez versus Daniel Cormier. Or let me think. What's another one?
He's got side control.
Who else are teammates? I could probably do like Khabib versus Islam. That'd be another one at lightweight. They're teammates. If that's something you'd be interested in, yeah, let me know. Ooh, they're both kind of cut up, aren't they? Especially George on his right side, above his right eye. Ooh, George has the speed advantage, but Rory is more than holding his own.
From both fighters. Yeah, these are two very well-rounded guys, Mike. It'll be interesting to see what adjustments they make before going into the next round.
Listen to me. Don't crowd them. Relax. Don't go for the big hook. Use the right hand. Hook right.
I'm curious, what other fighters did you guys like admire or look up to? You know, when they were younger, because I got a whole list of fighters. Rory MacDonald, GSP, Frankie Edgar, Carlos Condit. Those are just a few of the fighters that like I really admired and look up to. I mean, GSP was like the prototype fighter when it came to like being well-rounded and just having the skills to fight anywhere, and even his how he conducted himself, like both inside and outside the cage. You know, he's a very, very good role model. Now I looked up to Rory just because, you know, how freaking disciplined and dedicated he was, and just how freaking well-rounded he was at such a young age, you know. Like, I really admire these guys. You know, I admired Frankie Edgar, too, because it's another person, or former champion, that people tend to forget about. It's a shame, because Frankie's a legend, too. Nice timing by GSP. You know, Frankie, he fought lightweight just because, at the time, when he signed into UFC, there were no other lower weight classes besides lightweight. Like 155 was the bottom, you know, the lowest weight class that they had. And, you know, Frankie pretty much walked around right at 155. And despite being super undersized for that weight class, he was consistently beating guys that outweighed him. And he became champion in that weight class, man. That's why I really admire Frankie Edgar. It's a shame that later in his career he just kept getting knocked out. Because for the longest time, you know, like Frankie Edgar, he would get rocked in a lot of fights, but like no one was able to put him away. No one could submit him. I don't think he ever got submitted in his career. But, you know, as he got older, his chin failed him a bit, and he just kept getting finished. It was kind of sad to see him go like that, but it happens, man. Father Time's undefeated.
Nicely done.
Man, I'm really surprised that neither of them have rocked each other. If I had to guess, I'd say Roy has done slightly more damage. But, I mean, it's been competitive. Yeah, there's that GSP combination. That Superman to the leg kick. Ooh, nice leg kick. Or nice leg check.
4 rounds complete. 1 round remains in this UFC title.
Can't believe I made it all the way to the 5th round.
and challenger in that round, Joe.
Absolutely. I can see that round going either way on the judges' scorecard.
GSP looks kind of
needs to
fatigued.
make a huge statement in the 5th.
Surprising. It seems like Rory's actually the fresher guy here.
All right, let's go to the replay, Mike. Very nice takedown here. And this was that nice counter. Just perfect movement here.
Nice counter.
Right here, we see that tremendous counter shot land. Very good action in that round, Mike.
Can we possibly see a decision here? Maybe.
Gets us set for the 5th and final round.
Are you ready to fight? Are you ready?
Been a pretty tough fight, but
This
GSP
is
looks
the
more cut up than Rory.
and final round.
Oh,
And now he's answered.
Both guys staying in tight.
Oh,
He
passes
caught the
it.
kick. He ate that one.
oh. I'm interested to see if someone's going to land that big strike to put their opponent down.
Right there.
I like that lead uppercut animation that Rory has. Oh, GSP throws that combo twice.
Again with that left hook over and over again.
I think Rory's doing a pretty smart thing going to the body. I will say that
Good
Rory has
sprawl.
really impressed me with his takedown
Nice right
defense.
hand. Beautiful uppercut.
But I guess when you're training with GSP on the daily, you get used to
To the
defending.
midsection.
Oh, wow. What a combo by GSP. That makes Rory back up. He respected that. Interesting. You don't really see GSP fighting southpaw too often.
Swing and a miss.
What an exchange here. Beautiful
I will
hook.
say, I think the most impressive performance I've ever seen from
They're just
Rory
throwing.
Oh, they're exchanging
was
here.
actually,
Joe, this place is going wild.
Big right hand.
I think it was actually his fight against Damian Maia, to be honest, because in that fight,
Just
Being away.
combinations.
he actually got taken down and mounted by Damian Maia.
He's out.
And he's out.
Oh my god, that knockout was so sudden.
This fight is over. What a performance.
Wow.
And it defends the UFC welterweight title.
Dude, that freaking came out of nowhere.
Yeah, let's look at it again.
It was a lead
There was
uppercut,
certainly
right?
Bad intention when he throws this
Wow.
one.
And he hit him with a right hook as he's falling. He pins his arm
Here's it
behind his
again.
back from follow-up shots after he was out, too. Oh my god.
Here we see it again, close up.
Yep. Oh.
And with the official decision, here's Bruce Buffer.
Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Herb Dean has called a stop to this contest at 3 minutes, 30 seconds of the 5th round, declaring La Gagnant and the winner by knockout and still
Very impressive.
the UFC welterweight champion of the world, George Rush St-Pierre.
Less than 2 minutes left in the
St.
fight.
Pierre
GSP
defends his
finds the
welterweight
finish.
title.
Wow. Very impressive. Wow. Yeah, I was gonna say my favorite performance from Rory MacDonald was actually his fight against Damian Maia, because you know Rory got taken down in the first and mounted by Damian, but he actually managed to avoid all the submission attempts or any submission attempts from Damian and find a way back to his feet and came back to win a decision. But my God, Rory seemed to be the much more active guy when it came to his punches. Surprisingly, Rory did not attempt a single takedown. GSP was only successful on half of his takedown attempts. Wow. I really wish this game had like could show the scorecards for the judges, because I had that fight gone to a decision, I wonder who was ahead. GSP did not want to take any chances, I guess. My God. Alrighty, guys, that's going to do it for today's episode. Just a little different format. Wanted to take a break from recording the career mode. Plus, I just wanted an excuse to, see a match between Rory MacDonald and GSP. So hopefully you guys enjoyed watching. If there's any other matchups you wanted to see, just let me know down in the comments. Consider leaving a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.